Kung Fu is a traditional martial art from China that has existed for thousands of years. More than just techniques, Kung Fu is a philosophy of life, mental training, and the art of surviving in any condition. But beyond its spiritual values, Kung Fu is also known as a deadly self-defense system. In the real world, especially in brutal and unpredictable street fights, Kung Fu is put to the test in the harshest ways. Some people believe Kung Fu is outdated, not relevant for modern situations. But the reality tells a different story. In various video recordings, street duels, and even fights between practitioners, Kung Fu techniques can still be seen working effectively. Take, for example, this altercation in a parking lot. At first glance, you might think he's just an ordinary person, but it turns out he comes from a Kung Fu background. Yep, the martial art often deemed unsuitable for street fights, especially when facing off against a gangster. But just watch what happens next. The next example can be seen in this CCTV footage where a man defeats a pickpocket using nothing but a wooden stick, successfully incapacitating the thief in no time. Another Kung Fu moment is captured on CCTV in a restaurant. A customer is seen yelling at the waiters. Eventually, the waiter, who turns out to be a Kung Fu expert, has had enough and decides to teach the troublemakers a lesson. The philosophy of Kung Fu actually teaches its practitioners to avoid violence whenever possible. However, when self-defense becomes necessary, their techniques are incredibly devastating. Every strike is calculated, every movement efficient, designed to neutralize the threat with minimal effort. Kung Fu isn't a single style. It consists of hundreds of styles that developed across different regions of China, adapting to practical needs, from the battlefield to narrow alleyway fights. Two of the most prominent Kung Fu styles for self-defense in street combat are Shaolin and Wing Chun. Take a look at this fight that took place in a training hall. A street fighter suddenly enters and challenges a Wing Chun practitioner to a battle of strength. The street fighter, it turns out, has a background in boxing. They agree to fight without using kicks. The two fighters exchange blows, but the boxer struggles to match the speed of the Wing Chun practitioner, who fights with exceptional skill. The boxer is completely overwhelmed, with several Wing Chun strikes landing squarely on his face. The next moment also showcases an exciting duel as a Wing Chun practitioner faces off against an aggressive individual with a boxing background. At first, the Kung Fu practitioner is overwhelmed by the powerful punches from the boxer. However, he recovers and defeats the aggressor, using his impressive Wing Chun techniques. There's also a moment when a big street fighter challenges a Wing Chun practitioner to a sparring duel. Unlike the previous full contact fight, this time it seems both fighters are just training, with no intention of hurting each other. They exchange lighter strikes, not going full force. The fight intensifies when the street fighter forces the Wing Chun practitioner into a grappling contest. They struggle on the ground for quite some time. The street fighter gains the upper hand, blocking the Wing Chun master's neck. But soon after, the Wing Chun master turns the tide and reverses the situation. In addition to Wing Chun, Shaolin practitioners are known to be extraordinary Kung Fu experts. They possess incredible strength and abilities that ordinary people don't have. Typically, they train from a young age in temples located high up on mountains, pushing themselves beyond the limits of human capability. Let's watch a fight that takes place in the courtyard of a Shaolin temple. The fighter, wearing protective headgear, struggles to land any strikes and can only defend throughout the match to avoid the devastating impact of the Shaolin Kung Fu master's attacks. Years of intense training have allowed Shaolin practitioners to control their physical endurance to extraordinary levels. Take, for example, the moment in the fight between Shaolin monk Yi Long and MMA fighter Brad Riddell.
Nice strong kicks, Riddell. Still coming forward, and some free shots. Well, he is the consummate showman, is Yi Long.
When the New Zealand fighter lands blow after blow on Yi Long, the Shaolin monk remains completely unshaken. He doesn't flinch even slightly when Riddell lands 7 powerful punches to his face and jaw.
Give me your best shot, and he has plenty of them. Still been standing. I don't know what it did on the scorecard. That was another fantastic right hand